Well, it's a Christmas edition here of NFL on a Flash Sports Radio, WNML.com. Joel Silverberg, I am Eric Kane, and Merry Christmas from all of us here at Cumulus Knoxville to you at home, wherever you may be watching this today. A little late arrival here, more of a preview segment here leading into the big weekend. A big weekend, Joel, for the Titans, playoff implications heading into that final 2-week stretch of the season. Baltimore currently sits in the final wildcard spot, the 6th seed in the AFC, but the Titans coming on. Baltimore has not San Diego, Stephen A. Smith, Los Angeles, and Tennessee has Washington. Both big games and both on Saturday.
Yeah, it's a big game for Tennessee, and it's a really big playoff weekend in the AFC. Tennessee needs either Baltimore or Pittsburgh to lose on the weekend. Tennessee kicks off the week at 4:30 against Washington. If they pick up the win at home, they can sit back and relax for about 24 hours before they have to get ready for Indianapolis. But there's the best chance for Pittsburgh and Baltimore to lose for both of them is this week. They both get Cincinnati and Cleveland in week 17, and they both play at home. They have to go on the road this week. Baltimore goes all the way across the country to Los Angeles to take on the Chargers. Pittsburgh goes to New Orleans, where the Saints can clinch home field advantage in the NFC. So the Saints are going to be ready to play. That's a big game for Pittsburgh. Both those teams can't afford to blink, but Tennessee needs one of them to lose because they don't control their own destiny unless that happens.
And then if that does happen, Tennessee will square off against Indianapolis, who is also eyeing for that final wild card spot. And, Tennessee doesn't beat Andrew Luck, and we'll talk more about it next week, but a lot has to go right for the Titans, and they need to continue playing well coming off a shutout win in the Meadowlands against the Giants. Josh Gordon, news came out yesterday that he is going to take a break from football, citing he wants to work on his mental health, and it looks like the NFL has suspended him indefinitely because he broke his reinstatement agreement, with the drug abuse and everything like that. Such a horrible situation. Anyone battling, depression, anxiety, mental health issues, you wish them the best. But Josh Gordon, another, trial at the NFL and stepping away. What are your thoughts on him? Do you think he'll ever come back to the NFL?
I don't know. I really don't know. He's already been suspended. This is now the 4th time, I believe, that he's been suspended for the league's substance abuse policy. So it's a constant problem for him. And I don't know if you can trust him, because this really seemed like the time where he was going to turn it around. He was playing well in New England. He was starting to show off that talent and was a valuable piece to that offense with Tom Brady. But I don't know. With Kareem Hunt, it's different because this is his first offense. It's obviously a big deal, but he's so young. He's only in his second year. Somebody's going to take a flyer on him and sign him next year. With Josh Gordon, spent so much time trying to get it right in Cleveland. New England takes a shot at him, and he still has problems. It's been a much longer period of time. He's a repeat offender again and again. So I don't know. This one, I really don't know if he'll get another shot in the NFL again.
For New England now, they were already shorthanded coming into the season at the receiver position. Julian Edelman, Chris Hogan, you still have Rob Gronkowski. But other than that, not a lot in the receiving course for Tom Brady and the Patriots.
Yeah, it's Julian Edelman, Chris Hogan. You're trying to get Gronk in there. I think you're going to see a lot more of James White, who hasn't been a huge piece of that offense the last 2 or 3 games for New England. So expect both backs with he and Sony Michel to get a little bit more work out of the backfield. James White, obviously a big pass-catching target for Tom Brady. They're going to have to find a way to use it. Expect more 2 tight end sets. They're going to have to establish the running game a little bit more. But yeah, it definitely makes the challenge a little bit tougher for Tom Brady and company.
Pro Bowl rosters were released earlier this week for the Titans. Jarrell Casey, defensive tackle, offensive tackle Taylor Lewan, and punter Brett Kern are the 3 representatives so far for Tennessee. Of course, a lot will change with the rosters, with teams continuing on to the Super Bowl, the playoff push, injuries, and some guys that just want to sit out. But when you look at snubs, none come more apparent than on the NFC side at the running back position, VFL Alvin Kamara and Christian McCaffrey, who is having a fantastic season for Charlotte.
Yeah, and it's tough because I thought the NFC running backs that were selected, they're all fantastic. Ezekiel Elliott, Saquon Barkley, Todd Gurley. So it's tough. What are you going to do? Put 5 running backs on there? Somebody's got to get left off. But it did seem a little bit – I felt like it had a lot to do with team success. The Cowboys having that 5-game win streak, the Rams being as good as they've been all year. The Saquon Barkley was more about his individual success and what he's done in a franchise that hasn't played very well. But – yeah, when you look at Kamara, what he's done in New Orleans, especially before Mark Ingram came back, and then Christian McCaffrey, the guy that he's been all year, and I think maybe the Panthers losing 6 straight might have had something to do with that. So it is unfortunate for Carolina and for New Orleans that their guys were snubbed. Andrew Luck, also another big one in the AFC. Tom Brady probably shouldn't be there. Aaron Rodgers probably shouldn't be there for Green Bay in the NFC. Hasn't been turnover prone, which is good. But at the same time, I just think at the skill positions, it seems like sometimes the name brand goes a little bit farther along when it comes to Pro Bowl voting.
Real quick, let's look at the AFC West. The Chiefs were soaring so high for so long. They've lost a couple of late, and the Chargers continue to rise. And you can make the case that the Chargers could be the best team in the AFC. Do you think the Chargers are the best team, not only in the West, but in the entire conference?
I wouldn't buy into that quite yet. I think the Chiefs and the Chargers are the two best teams in the AFC. I think I wish that they could be the 1 and the 2 seed, but because they're both in the same division, they can.
And then Houston 3.
Yeah, and then one of those two teams though is going to be the 5 seed. It's just the way it's going to happen. So it's remarkable. Those are the only 2 playoff teams that we have clinched. It is still possible for the Texans and the Patriots to miss out on the postseason completely. Highly unlikely, but it's still technically possible. We're 2 games left in the season. Only 2 AFC teams have clinched. But yeah, I do think those are the 2 best teams in the AFC. The Chiefs have played the Chargers. They've played each other tough twice. It was just a 10-point game when they met in week 1, and then the Chargers go on the road and beat the Chiefs in Kansas City. So yeah, I think those are the best 2 teams in the AFC, and I think the Chargers, if the Chiefs were to slip up in Seattle this week, would have a real opportunity to get the number 1 overall seed in the AFC.
Week 14 has come and gone. My playmaker of the weekend, DeAndre Hopkins, in a Saturday night contest against the New York Jets. A big second half, 2 touchdowns, 170 yards receiving on 10 receptions. DeAndre Hopkins for the first-place Houston Texans, who continue to soar. Joel?
Mike Williams of the Los Angeles Chargers. I thought he had a big game, especially when Keenan Allen goes down last Thursday against Kansas City early, has the potential game-tying touchdown, and then the game-winning 2-point conversion on top of that. But he had a monster night, a career high in fantasy points for him last week, and had a big game and a big rivalry game. And now here are the Chargers. We just talked about it, an opportunity to win the AFC if they can get Kansas City to slip up once in these last 2 weeks.
No more Thursday night football on the docket. Instead, Saturday games, Sunday games as we head through the final push of the regular season of this NFL campaign. With Joel Silverberg, I am Eric Kane. Merry Christmas, everybody, to you from Cumulus, Knoxville. And we'll talk to you next week here on NFL in a Flash Sports Radio, WNML.